3rd of June 2024, in the year of our Lord Talos, Sourcebook Games dropped their Cyberpunk Edgerunners Mission Kit for pre-order on their website and presumably other places. I don't know how that's all working out. And there has been a lot of excitement for this for quite some time. Since Cyberpunk 2077, there has been a lot of interest in Cyberpunk RED and the TTRPG material in general, so much so that Sourcebook Games keeps selling out the main fucking core book. The core book in question being Cyberpunk RED, which will be using its rule sets for the mission kit. As I said, there's been a lot of excitement for this, so much so that this is the first time in all of their career that Sourcebook Games have ever done a fucking pre-order. I've posted about my growing interest in the Cyberpunk world developed by Mike Pondsmith and Sourcebook Games, and I really want to run this, both Cyberpunk RED and 2020, but also material from the Edgerunners Kit. So this is going to be another one of those development vlogs where I put a bunch of pre-gens together and run it for some people. Now, this one's going to be a little interesting because I'm hoping that I can run this at my local game store, similar to the werewolf one I did some time ago, which is now going to be in a corner. Up there somewhere, I'm being attacked by foliage again. And that's going to refer to another walk and talk vlog as a little Easter egg for you. The catch for this one is that it may not actually happen because the date I am wanting to do, or month I should say, is so close to when Sourcebook will be like delivering these to people, or well, people who have pre-ordered them. Obviously shops and things may work a little differently, but I'm hoping to run this in person for when my partner arrives, because I've mentioned this before, we have a long distance relationship. We don't get to see each other physically all the time, and I haven't actually run a proper game for them in person, so I'm actually wanting to do this as like a special treat thing. Yes, it's really soppy, yes, it's really sweet. That's what I am. Inside this cold, gothic, dank heart of mine, there is some essence of romance. There's a reason why I love the romantic goth setting so much. But, anyway, if I can't manage to do that, it'll just be an ordinary, like, a digital affair through Discord, and I'll pull members from fucking YouTube, or Discord, or whatever to play a game with. Well, we'll have to see what happens there. So, what exactly am I going to do with all of this? So the Edgerunners Mission Kit comes with 3 books. One of them is on the world and the lore of 2077, 6 and beyond, I should say, of the cyberpunk setting, because remember, it uses the RED rule set, which is in 2045, Edgerunners is in 76, 2077 is obviously the year after, and RED was supposed to be the gap between 2020 and 77, and as I said, it's using the most recent rule set. It contains the rules, or at least some of the rules, so you could just pick up the thing and just start playing with some of its 2070 era like tech and weapons and whatnot. And then there's also a multiple session adventure called the Jacket. Now, I'm not going to be running the Jacket for one very simple reason, is that everybody who's going to be covering this on YouTube and doing like reviews, actual plays, whatever, is going to be referring to the Jacket, I reckon. There are going to be a lot of like Edgerunners Kit, like the Jacket, actual plays and things on Twitch and YouTube now. And quite frankly, just like your mother, that's going to get round a bit and we're going to know all about it, its ins and outs, its flaws, its merits, and it's downright disgusting. So I'm going to make things difficult for myself and do a one-shot adventure, totally original. Well, I say totally original. If it ends up being similar to the plot of the Jacket, then that's just a bit fucking awkward. And as I said, that is multiple sessions. Mine's going to be a one-shot, so already it's going to be pretty different by that definition alone. Now, what's actually going to be involved in this plot? Well, it's going to be set the day after the end of the anime, and there's going to be fucking spoilers for this, by the way, where David has had his fucking head blown off by Adam Smasher, and there's that fucking huge crater in the plaza. And it makes me wonder, you know, it took a year for Arasaka and who else, you know, to patch all that shit back up again. A year, which is quite incredible to think about, like the money and the resources and how much of a high priority it was. And it makes you wonder, were there any Edgerunners or anyone who tried hopping down that hole and seeing if they can grab some loot, as it were? And that's what's going to be the case. There's going to be a fixer who's going to contact the players, the Edgerunners, to see if they can like find any like gear or tech or something in particular. To that end, they're going to have a fight with Adam Smasher, which I did notice on the preview and drive-through RPG, and indeed other bits and pieces that RTL Soaring Games have put out, that they do have an Adam Spasher token, which would imply to me, very much so, that he's in this. So he would have stats, so I wouldn't have to come up with too much. But as this is the 4th of June, and the things are coming out in 20 days' time, I have not read it. I have not received any emails or sponsorships or whatever. This is purely somebody who wants to run Cyberpunk RED using the Edgerunners Mission Kit. So don't say that I'm copying things, because at this point in time, I don't fucking know. So, let's go and put these fucking things together. So with most of the month gone, all of these like template pre-gen things are almost done. It's just the character sheets that need to be done, but the actual background information is pretty much complete. I've left one left for you to have a look at to see how I actually put all of this shit together. Using Canva is my choice to creating like thumbnails and like anything handout related, which has been a requested feature from when I did my werewolf one, that people actually wanted to see how I put these together. So I'm going to prepare a time lapse for you as I create the Netrunner role, and then just talk about, you know, over the top how I actually did all of that. I've got some dice, we've got a pink D6, and we got a pink D10. That's not going to focus, but what the hell. And of course we're going to be using these dice to roll some tables using the various life path tables in Cyberpunk RED. It's actually one of my more favourite features of the Cyberpunk games, like creating the character rather than just dumping a load of stats, which I know people tend to do with these things anyway, but I really like it how this encourages you to build the story as part of the character creation. It's a very, very good Cyberpunk indeed. Lovely stuff. And with that all out of the way, I think we better just fucking crack on and make ourselves a funky Netrunner. So I take a lot of pride in putting these like pre-gen handout things together, because I'm very particular about how I put them together. I try and make them feel and look like it's official material, so I will spend a considerable amount of time locating the actual fonts if they're not in Canvas, because you can already see like the Netrunner thing is the same as it is in the book. We've got the same font that takes the main form of the text, and as you probably will see as I'm scrolling up and down trying to work out which copy am I supposed to be editing, that you know, the fonts change a little bit as things are bold or medium, as you'll see later on and so forth. You'll also notice that the little triangle things, we've got that in that like Cyberpunk Edgerunners green. We've got the Edgerunners logo on the back. That was quite simple to do. I took that from the preview, removed the background of it, made it a bit larger, faded it out so it was like a watermark sort of thing, and on the second page you'll find like the 2077 Cyberpunk logo font, again in a similar form of watermark. And you'll also see when I showed them in printed out form, physical form I should say, that there's some tables that some of the roles use, and I fiddled around with the colour scheme a little bit so it looks like, again, it's Edgerunners material rather than just have the Cyberpunk redness within the yellow and green vibes that the Edgerunners thing is going for. As I said before, I'm using the life path systems to roll tables and decide things, and there's some times where I like mull over it and I re-roll things because there's been quite a few repetitions within these characters, so I didn't want it to feel too samey. But then again, I always forget that it doesn't matter what if you roll the same results. In the context of everything else that you're building and the person who's making them, you'll create some really interesting results. I mean, with this Netrunner here, we have like a Romeo and Juliet sort of example, like hates everyone, doesn't have any enemies, doesn't have any friends, is antisocial, rebellious, but they have this one tragic love affair that committed suicide. And there's a moment like, holy shit, that just got really dark, and I didn't know what to do with them, but it was just that one detail that made everything else made a lot of sense. And there's some options where I chose an option rather than rolled a dice because it made more narrative sense. And I just love that about these like random dice rolls, like how it could just be one thing that inspires a lot of things. And obviously my dog Holly's quite bored by all of this, so you're going to have to excuse the snoring. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun creating these, and like copying and pasting the different elements over, as you've seen already, like making it all look authentic with the actual text and whatnot. And I stop early on with this, purely because I realised when I get to the Netrunner stuff that two things. First of all, I remember how it takes up a whole fucking chapter about net running and like all the different elements of this to that. So I'm going to have to like condense things down and try and find another way of doing that. But as you see, as I'm scrolling up a little bit, you get like a general sense of how that's going to look, and I will show you all of this when it's all printed out and completed. Also, and this is something that's true with all the Edgerunner stuff, all the different roles get like an upgrade or a change to their playstyle, like their abilities and whatnot, so I can't invest too much attention into the character sheet portions of this at the moment. And I know that specifically with the Netrunners, they have access to quick hacks, much like in 2077. So as well as their like standard interface abilities, they also have the quick hacks so they can like hack into people and fuck with people from a distance, which makes my favourite role a lot more fucking terrifying. Because when I played 2077, one of my main route was like it was a bit of everything, but like the main theme was like from afar, like quick hacking it and taking out as much as I can so I can go in there in the confusion, just fuck with people up with swords and guns and whatnot. It was mainly guns I used in my first and only playthrough of it. But yeah, I need to consider those factors before I expand these further. And whilst I'm here talking about the roles, I will mention that the only ones I haven't done pre-gen things for is the Corpo Exec and Lawman, which I don't think... First of all, I don't think the Lawman is appropriate for like a fucking bin dive into a crater at the Central Plaza, the City Plaza, like stealing stuff from Arasaka. That doesn't seem a bit... I mean, yeah, sure, it can be like a bent copper, like investigator sort of thing, but given like the role ability for that's like pulling like back up and whatnot, I'm not too sure what that would be, and I didn't think that would kind of resonate with the setting that I have. And I didn't choose the Corpo one because none of the abilities actually apply to this thing here, and I think it's a bit more of a difficult role to get into. I could be wrong and mistaken with this, but you know what, I think the rest that are provided there provides a lot of interesting roleplay opportunities and lots of fun for everybody involved. Now, today is the day where the actual mission kit goes live on digital on, you know, their website and Drive-Thru-RPG. Actually, it's only Drive-Thru-RPG. If you've pre-ordered it, they'll be releasing a thing for it, and also you can obviously pay for it. The digital version will be easy to get hold of. I've pre-ordered a physical copy as well, so whenever that arrives, I'll probably be doing like an unboxing thing for that. Hopefully it will arrive before I can run it in person, because something that I forgot that I didn't mention or completely overlooked, that it doesn't matter whether I had the physical version on the day that my partner would be here, assuming that we can get a space to run in person, because I would have the digital stuff anyway and the physical rulebook for RED, so I was getting too het up on that, so I'm just amending that thing here. So yeah, there's not really much I can do until that goes live later today, and I believe in my time zone it's 3 PM, because I'm British in it, so I have to wait a bit more for it, so I'll have to look over, mull over and see what I need to add, change, etc and so forth. And I also get to have a better look about Adam Smasher, because it has confirmed from some of like those early access reviews that people were putting out that Adam Smasher does have a lot of stats. And it surprised a lot of people actually that he was nerfed for this, because he uses a lot of red material, altered obviously, so it's easily accessible. But even so, Adam Smasher is a force to be reckoned with here, and it probably won't be a surprise that I'm going to be throwing him in there for people, because they kind of expect it. But you know what, it's going to be a lot of fun, like putting my twist on you know, this boogeyman of Night City. So yeah, let's find out what the Edgerunners Kit entails and how much I need to change and adapt for these character sheets that I'm creating.
Nice.
So the mission kit, at least in PDF form, is out now for about 6 days. A week tomorrow, actually. That's usually how this works. And I haven't read all of it. I've read bits and pieces, as much as I need to know at this point for this game that I'm running, which will be happening on the 14th of July there, which is absolutely exciting stuff. I have been able to get a place at the local game store, so hopefully this physical in-person game will happen. I have noticed that a couple of things have really taken my interest. First of all, it's got its own live pathing in there, so if I waited a bit more, I could have used that one rather than one from Red, but to be honest, I don't think it makes too much of a difference here. You've got things like the Gorilla Arms and the Sandevistan. David's Sandevistan, I should say, Mantis Blades, all really cool, powerful stuff. Net running, well, quick hacks is a thing that's in this, and Jesus fucking Christ, net runners are now really fucking powerful. Like, deep dives isn't a thing in this yet, but it has kind of been said that there will be, like, more in-depth rules and systems for that in the future, which is really exciting to think about. So yeah, all that really needs to be done though is actually making the fucking character sheets. I've made a couple already. I did the Rocker Boy and the Solo yesterday, and I'm going to try and do a couple more today. I've got the Tech and I believe it's the Med Tech that are right next to each other. Let's see, Tech and yeah, Tech and Med Tech. I'm looking at my little handout things on Canva, which you saw earlier on. And I'm adding bits to that now, adding in like weapons and cyberware, because even though I have the more simpler character sheet that Artel Soaring put out, not the one that you can find at the back of the book sort of thing, it's still pretty awkward, I feel, like trying to include all the bits and pieces rather than like print out so many different versions of the Edgerunners Kit just to hand out to people. So I'm adding it to all these handouts. It makes it the largest set of handouts I've done to date, and I will show them all in full once they're done. Although that have to be said, one of the things that's included is like a little quick rule sheet about how to basically do shit, which I think is really cool actually. So I'm definitely going to be printing off those pages and like handing them out to the different players. Yeah, I'm really excited, you know, to run this, and I have a bit more of an idea of what I want to do with this. I was thinking actually the reason why these Edgerunners are being sent off to go like deep dive into this pit in the Central Plaza, which is all a whole like corporate circle bit, I forget the exact name for it, is owned by Militech. So that's a very interesting thing indeed. But I'm gonna have like somebody from Arasaka set them all up, you know, trying to lure in stupid Edgerunners and just wipe out the competition sort of thing, which the players may be able to intercept if they suspect that the person's being a bit too goody two-shoes sort of thing. They can hear a phone call or whatever. Now, of course, if they decide they're not going to fucking bother do it, I'll have to try and work out what to do from there on. By it, I mean like dive into the hole. But yeah, I can work that one out and just like run that game off the seat of my pants. So I suppose I should crack on and carry on with these fucking character sheets. And I don't think I need to do a time lapse for it, because we all know how to put a character sheet together now, don't we, kiddos? So I have two more character sheets to make now, the Netrunner and the Nomad, and putting all these sheets together has been a very interesting challenge, having to do all these different dated character sheets out of hand. And yes, I am saying character creation for Cyberpunk RED is dated. Have you fucking look at that character sheet and see how many different stats there are for everything? I think some of them are a bit unnecessary, to be totally honest. But that aside, it's been an interesting little process. And I had to be a bit lenient with the Street Rat package for character creation here. Partially because it gives you a lot of gear that I think is a lot for people to keep an eye on during a one-shot at a Learn to Play event. So I'm basically just going to hand wave a lot of that away and say, hey, if it makes sense for your character to have that on their person, go for it. They also have 500 eddies to go and spend on anything that they can desire during the game for any prep that they want to do. So there's that as an option as well. And I've also been a bit lenient with the cyberware that they've had, because everybody has a Neuroport, and some of the cyberware in Red is just like all part of the Neuroware that pretty much everybody gets installed as a kid. So that's something to worth taking into consideration as well. So I don't want people to have duplicates. That, and Edgerunners have got new cyberware for people to play with, and I think it's a bit fucking redundant if I'm doing something specifically using the Edgerunners in 2077 or 76 timeline, not to give them the new fancy toys to play. So you've got like characters with the new guns, you've got someone with the Mantis Blades, the Netrunner's going to have the mono wire, and the Med Tech has got the Gorilla Arms because I thought it'd be funny. Well, no, it's not quite true. Yeah, partly because it was funny, but partly because it fits with the character, like getting shit done and wanting to be the best that they can, and you know, wanting to get people out of the way and like move like vehicles out of the way. They could use their gorilla arms that way. However, this does mean that this one character is on the brink of going into cyberpsychosis, which I nearly considered retconning and like choosing something else. But I thought, you know what? I think it would be pretty interesting to see how a player deals with cyberpsychosis, and I've left like a little description in there. There's some symptoms that people with cyberpsychosis suffer with. I've put down 3 fairly easy ones for people to follow. So that's now a thing. And of course, when I told my partner this, who is going to be playing this with me, they've already played Shotgun on the medtech, so cool. My girlfriend in game's going to be a right old dickhead. Which is great, because it's actually one less thing to worry about, not somebody like pushing things too far and being just a complete turd at the table. So yeah, let's see what we end up doing with the last 2 character creation sheets things. Oh yeah. And here we are, with all my little handouts all ready to be filed away, but I'm going to talk a bit about them first. First of all, the simplest to show you, the character sheets. Now obviously I wasn't going to print these Cyberpunk RED character sheets in colour, because all this is red and that's quite a lot of ink that's to be wasted. And I did want to do this as black and white, but we've got like this greyish teal colour instead, which I actually think looks pretty wizard. Or pretty cool if we go to the 21st century and not the 1950s British slang in it. Obviously these are going to be paired up with like the main pre-gen write-ups, which obviously is used quite a bit of paper, like 22 pages or something like that. And I'm very happy with how these turned out. Obviously some like because I'm low on ink on my printer, like some of the finer details didn't carry over, which is fine, it's not the end of the world. And the little watermark theme with each of them, the Edgerunners logo and the Cyberpunk, they're not as like striking as I wanted them to be, but you know what, I think they're subtle enough for people to notice that, oh right, that's pretty cool, yeah. So there's those, and there's also the Netrunner quick sheet, like the quick hacks for the Netrunner. And as I mentioned earlier on, I'm not including all the various net running rules because it's quite a lot already, and even more paper that's being used. And to be honest, you can bend a lot of these quick hacks to like simulate a lot of the standard features. Like if you want to like take over a tour at a security cam, you can just use the advanced quick hack puppet, for example. Now if anybody does require like something a bit more niche, I will pull from those Netrunner actions and do that, but we'll have to see what happens, because nobody may not want to try out the Netrunner anyway. And I've also got a few copies of like the rules reference for each of the players, so I can hand them out to each of them. Saves me having to explain things a load of times, so you just got that beauty right there. And I think it's pretty cool that in the PDF you've got that included as well. And finally, you have a little handout for me, because there's some specific things that I'm going to forget, so I just made a very quick little handout today. Again, the ink is running low in the printer, so you've got all these like fun lines for me to deal with. Now of course, if I get the physical box before or on the day that I run this, then that's fine, I can just refer to those rules via the little booklets. But if not, got that thing there for me as well. But Law, you've got the PDF, why didn't you just like use it on your phone or tablet? Because I'm old school and I prefer having like these physical handouts. I just prefer reading it in the flesh, like, so I'll be taking the actual book with me rather than the PDF. It's great to refer to things, yes, but if I've got the book to hand, or like in this case like a little handout for me to refer to, then that's all fine and dandy. Now the way I'm organising all of this is actually going to be a little different as well, because usually I'd have in this little booklet, which we've showcased before on other special one-shots and games that I've run, I'd put all the information regarding the characters in one file, their character sheets in another one, and then any references and so on and so forth. Yes, the references are going to be in one page, but because there is so much there, and I'm going to get real confused like placing all the stuff out on the table, I'm actually going to be putting the character sheet along with the write-up things. Something that I've learned from my recent werewolf one, which I don't know why it took me this long to work it out, but you know what, rather late than never. So I'm going to start doing that now, and listen to this rather based World of Darkness content creator called Law by Night. And it's no wonder really why the family hates him. You can check out a video that's going to appear on a card up there, and you can also watch along the video that I'm watching right now, which is also going to appear on a card up there. Like, oh, it's really great stuff.
In case you totally missed the thumbnail, this is a 65-page book. It's hardback, but nice quality.
It's cool music. You'll be able to hear it, but it's pretty poggers. It's talking about the reprint and the revelations of the Dark Mother.
How much do you think they're going to ask you to pay for that? Now, given it's a hardback, you'd expect like maximum 20 snappers. We'll use dollars as that's what they're advertising here. Well, if you get that, you're a fucking moron. $40? 40 fucking dollars for that tiny A6 piece of ass. $40.
So based. And that is practically everything that I need for my Cyberpunk RED one-shot in a couple of weeks' time. Quite literally a couple of weeks' time now, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Ooh, how exciting. I suppose the only thing really I could print off and put in here is Adam Smasher's character sheet, which is pretty important given the nature of this one-shot. And I also need to like read up and revise on the basic rules, to make sure that I'm able to run it as optimally as possible. Sure, I've got handouts and things, but I just like to be prepared for these things. I also have the Games Master screen as well to refer to as well, which is going to be an absolute godsend for all that fucking combat. But yeah, there's very little for me to do otherwise, so I guess I should go and do some revision over the next coming 2 weeks. Game day is a week tomorrow, and the day that I fuck off with my partner is even closer still, and I have several bags to pack. The most important of which, for the purposes of this video at least, is this gorgeous beauty right here. This is a bag that I take with me whenever I run games at my local game store or the odd convention here and there. I take everything that I need for the occasion in this gorgeous thing here. And we're going to go through that pile of books behind me, and I'm going to show you what I'm taking game related wise, and tell you a bit why I'm taking those things with me. We're obviously going to start from the top and work our way down, but we're actually going to start with this stuff here. This is a little dice bag, or it came with some fucking tech accessory and I claimed it for myself. Now, I have a much larger dice bag that I usually take with me, but that's usually World of Darkness related, where I just shove a load of D10s in there, and of course Cyberpunk uses a singular D10 and a load of D6s. And I have those sort of like miscellaneous dice stored in 2 containers like this, but these take up quite a bit of space and I don't need like all those dice sets with me. So I've gone through my notes and whatnot, particularly the character sheet of Adam Smasher, and he has a shoulder mounted rocket launcher, and that does 9d6 damage.
Now that's a lot of damage!
So I decided to pack a whole bag of said D6s there, and that will probably go, I don't know, there. And the dice tray I've showed off before, it was made up by an ex of mine, and it's a cool design, so why get rid of it? I have a little cloth on the top purely because I'm autistic and one of my sensitivities is to do with sound, so I have that just to muffle things a little bit. It's going to be quite a noisy environment anyway, so nonetheless, overwhelmed and stimulated I can feel, the better things will run in the long run. Now for the actual books. First of all, we've got this big blue beauty here, lots of GM related things in here, but there's some cyberpunk related stuff at the back. The YouTuber John the Wise came up with like a quick NPC goon generator thing. I'll put his video in question in the thing below. And he also teamed up with Artel Soaring Games and actually put out some homebrew, like official stuff for it as well, which is pretty neat. So I have some variation of that in there. I've expanded it for my own purposes, of course, which of course anyone isn't able to do. So that will now sit in there. Of course, we have the Cyberpunk RED Corebook, the lovely book right there. That's just going to go right at the front there. Now, you've seen this one before already, and it's kind of battered now, given all the times I've thrown it around in videos. This has like the various handouts and pre-gens for my players in here. That's going to sit nicely with a big one at the back there. Of course, I may shuffle these around at a later point, but you know what? You don't really need to have that finite details confirmed. This is the Cyberpunk RED GM screen, which is like not the most fanciest of materials, I have to say. This is like cardboard. It looks nice because of course the artwork looks lovely, but it doesn't feel the most sturdy of things, I have to say. And you can have a little gand on the inside as well. Folds up like that, folds up like that, and that's going to sit in with the Corebook there. And now finally, we have two 2020 source books that I think will be worth taking. Well, one of them I'm definitely taking regardless of whether I think it's worth it or not, but the other one might be a bit overkill. Now, the first of these is the Night City Sourcebook, which you can get on Drive-Thru RPG print on demand. I'll leave a link in the description below, and you purchase it with that link. I get some of the money back because it's a special affiliate link, so you can continue to support me so I can do cool little things like this and eventually some cyberpunk lore dives, which will be fun, I'm sure. Yeah, this just has like a whole map of Night City, how everything works, and given that 2077 was inspired by 2020, rather than RED was in a response to 77, as I've explained already. I feel that this is a pretty imperative thing to do if players decide to use other means of transportation to get from a club to Central Plaza. So that's in there, and I was just thinking that there may be some players who may want to do some research on Arasaka, you know, to try and find a way in that way to see if they can find something of that nature. So I am bringing the Corporation Report 2020, which has information and lore on several corporations found within Cyberpunk. Probably overkill, and obviously bits of it are outdated. I've obviously got the RED Corebook there for some of the more up-to-date things, and I've played 77, I've read the Edgerunners Kit, so I have that 77 information there. But if anybody who wants to do like a deep dive on their history for whatever reason, I think it'd be worthwhile having this information here. So that's really the main bulk of the bag. He says try not to tip the whole table over, and actually that's quite stuffed as it is. So I'm going to have to shuffle some things around, which is absolutely fine. And then we have like more miscellaneous stuff, and there's a front pocket there that has some paper and a pen, so I can make notes. And these pre-gens don't have people's names on them, so when I hand them out, I can like make notes of them. Okay, so Fuckface McGee is that character, Timmy is that person, etc. and so fucking forth. And yeah, and then I'll bring food and drink, obviously, because it's very important to stay hydrated. But those things can come on the day itself when I'm heading into the local game store. So yeah, I'm going to fine-tune the arrangement of this bag now, and I think the next time you'll see me will be the game day itself, or the day after, where I'll tell you how things have went, unless of course something catastrophic happens and the game's cancelled, which I really hope that it isn't. So game day has been, but not entirely gone. I've just returned to the place where we are staying for the last week. Well, a few days actually, because it had a fucking horrific start, but that's a conversation for a different time. So I've just returned from running my Cyberpunk one-shot for a group of 5, which is pretty awesome. Nobody had played Cyberpunk before. There was a few people who hadn't played TTRPGs before as well, so that feels quite the honour that I popped a couple of cherries at once. It's quite the talent, actually, I have to say. But of course, there was, you know, as I've mentioned before, that rather special somebody in there. My partner and soulmate, and whoa, where the fuck did you come from? Magic, almost. This is your first time playing Cyberpunk too. How was it?
It was very fucking good.
Thank you, that means a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to run. There was a couple of mishaps on my part, like part of it was a technical thing with the character sheets that I was making. There was also some automated stuff, so you put in the numbers and it totaled it up, only there was like a row with all of them where it didn't do that properly. Twice, I'll tell story in a game where you are supposed to be making people excited with the tech. Your tech fucking failed on me, so do a better job. But besides that, there's also moments, because you just have a lot of stats at Cyberpunk, trying to work out, okay, what do I roll here, because some of them have got like some very small discrepancies, like you've got a variety of drive skills, like, and I understand why, of course, but it can be just a to try and work out. Yeah, it went really, really well. Everybody, despite some people being new to TTRPGs, where they really got into the role playing of it rather well, which might have been aided by the fact that they are fans of Critical Role, so they maybe had some of that in their head as well, which is not a problem at all. But it was cool that despite being new to it, they were able to get into their roles and their interpretations of the characters as well as quickly as they did, which I think is pretty awesome. And I feel like really happy that I was able to provide that experience for them. Everybody worked out quickly that it was the Tiger Claws that was chasing them, and what they didn't know is actually that the fixer that set them up, then when they had their phone call at the end, they told them to go and fuck them up. Of course, I can reveal to you now that the whole idea of this was that Arasaka was aware that there may be people coming to steal stuff, so they were trying to take out people who would take the bait, as it were.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very kind. Glad they're all dead.
Yes, the group did very well getting rid of the Arasaka troops. We had one person who took Nomad, because of course they did, and they had the idea of like calling in the entire family to escort them, which didn't go too well because one of them got blown up by a rocket launcher. But the rest of them at the corporate plaza, or Central Plaza, whatever it's called, they organised to get to spread around the different entrances and exits, which was a really cool idea. It was something I hadn't thought about, because I thought, as part of my ad-libbing GM style, I thought there would be more of a scuffle on the way out sort of thing. But no, because of that, I sort of ordered that they'd be able to get out of all the chaos that was happening. Chaos that was caused by three characters, Riku included.
I'm always included in chaos.
Absolutely, it's why I love you so much. Part of it was the fact that one person chose the Rocker Boy, so they had the setup pop-up gig that I thought they were going to go with. They worked with the media character, who was one of the new RPG players, and combined with Rika's efforts as the medtech, had it that Trauma Team was sponsoring the event, which was a definite highlight for all of us. Just me leaping into the role of a very excited news reporter, asking, "Oh wow, this is amazing! How do you feel?" And then just giving them. And they rolled really well with their persuasion as well, trying to bullshit their way through this. It was just a lot of fun, lots of laughs all round, and that's despite more gritty, serious nature of Cyberpunk. I love these more stupid elements of roleplay. And there was also, of course, that encounter with Adam Smasher at the end, which everybody kind of saw coming, I think. And I started to describe, you see a big hulking metal figure, and someone said, "Oh great, you threw Adam Smasher at us? Why?" But no, they managed to survive. There was not a single death. Rika's character nearly died. They were the first one to be picked off by Adam Smasher. Took a lot of shotgun bullets to the gut.
To be fair, I tried to punch him.
You did, yes, you did kind of start that, so it's
Yes.
on you, really. It destroyed their armour. Somebody else had their armour destroyed. We had that player who was also the media. Was seriously wounded, which is a thing within Cyberpunk, of course. But yeah, they all managed to survive. Our medtech here was able to cook up some drugs, some pharmaceuticals, to heal them, to keep them stabilised for a little bit, which is really cool. They managed to get out of a bit of data, because I wasn't specific about what was wanted, because the fixer had nothing in mind. They were prepared for some losses here and there. But of course they escaped, and Adam Smasher was not going to follow after them, create more of a scene and cause too many casualties. Even though I feel Adam Smasher wouldn't give a fuck, I do not think Arasaka would approve that much chaos. And there was already a lot of chaos on board with this riot that had happened, because somebody, the Netrunner, quick hacked into somebody and used, I think it was the lure, quick hack, not lure,
Puppet, that was it, Puppet, to like have somebody shoot one of the Arasaka as like the gig was reaching its climax and people ready to like fucking lock heads and Glaswegian and kiss everything. Yeah, it was really good. Everybody has some really cool ideas, lots of role play. Really proud of everybody and how, where, when and how they really got involved with it. One player went away and started buying the Edgerunners Kit. Somebody was asking about like any minis you could buy, because there are some official ones for Red, so it'd be cool if they go up and get that. And then there was the other two who I hope, you know, would go away and do more Cyberpunk, especially the one who was the media who hadn't played TTRPGs before, that they wanted to with Dungeons and Dragons, but they saw this learn to play thing and they had the opportunity, which I think is really, really cool. And as I said, it makes me really happy I can provide those experiences. But I do realise throughout all of this, I haven't actually answered the question, how do you go about running Cyberpunk using the Edgerunners Kit? Well, for the short and easy answer, you just kind of use the same that you would do with Red. Like, it's got to be hard and fast, it's got to be dangerous, and you've got to encourage the players to make lots of risks. And I think everybody at one point or another made lots of risks, both social, physical, and mental. And you know, just play up the drama and the hype a lot more and encourage like chaos wherever it goes. And I think it really leans into a lot of games masters who don't do a lot of planning, because you really can't with something like this. Just because there's no way I could prepare for any of that other than just, okay, from the bar, the chase, the thing, and then the Arasaka, everything else is just pure chaos, and you've really got to embrace the chaos wherever you go, and that's just something that I do quite a lot. So yeah, I can't wait to run more. I still don't have the physical kit yet, which is unfortunate. It hasn't arrived in the barely United Kingdom, so hopefully when that happens, I'll be able to pick up my local game store and I can do like a proper unboxing thing, if that's something that you would want to do. Before I sign off, is there anything else that you want to add?
Fuck Adam Smasher.
Yes, fuck Adam Smasher, both physically and sexually, because apparently it's canon that he has a fucking body pillow. I am not shitting you. Now, as a player, how would you rate the experience out of 10? And can we have like a law by night out of 10 system?
Okay, a law by night out of 10 system. I would go with Broken Ribs out of 10.
Yes, and that means nothing to you lot, but it means everything to us too. So if you've enjoyed this very different sort of vlog that I've done, give a like and subscribe, so it encourages me to make more awesome Cyberpunk content for you, whether it's like 2020, Red, Edgerunners, 2077 and beyond, because there's going to be more DLC and Sourcebooks of this apparently. Yeah, let me know your Cyberpunk adventures, and if you want lots of Cyberpunk books including your games, check out the various links in the description below. You purchase them with those links, I get some of the money back. You've heard this is a lot, which is why you're smirking. I get some of the money back because I'm an affiliate there and I can provide more content for you, because these books are not cheap. And I really want to delve into the world of Artelso and Cyberpunk with you, and I'd appreciate all the financial help and support you can give me. If you can't, that's fine, just like, subscribe, share it with anybody that you think would be really into this. And there's also going to be some links there for ways to integrate Cyberpunk into your World of Darkness games, particularly Vampire the Masquerade. You can purchase those in the description below. There's also going to be a playlist that's going to be appearing somewhere in those like end screen cards now, hopefully. So go and click on that, enjoy, like, subscribe, buy books, play awesome games, and I'll see you on the next upload, wherever that may well be for you. And until next time, farewell. Laughing at me, so rude. Da 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 da.